You get nothing for free against Kirby Smart. That's what one coach said about the Dogs. Dean Legge from Dog Post, making you a smarter Georgia fan. That's in Athlon's preview of Georgia this season. Obviously, that magazine's been around for a long, long time. Doesn't carry the weight that it used to because there's so many outlets. But it is always interesting to see the unattributed quotes that are read, that you can read in publications like Athlon and so forth. Let me read the full quote. I think defensively they'll be as good as they always are. They're great at never making you comfortable. For as athletic as they are, they're still smart too, meaning they're going to throw you different coverages, maybe more than necessary. You get nothing for free against Kirby Smart. You know, when you're on the sideline, you get so used to people converting 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1. But over the time that Kirby Smart and company have been at Georgia, you really do get the feeling that no first down is given, period. And something can always go wrong for the offense. We saw that for Florida last year. I feel like Auburn had a bad 4th down play or 3rd down play. It's like, Georgia's just not going to give anything up, period. And the discipline that you see on this defense for the Dogs, it's a real thing. I mean, we're either talking about the linebackers, guys like Monty Rice, or the guys up front, Jordan Davis. Obviously, the defensive backs are super talented. They might be the most talented position at Georgia, but it really is the front. And when you look at, like, no one's going to get blown away by Malik Herring or Devontae Wyatt, but they're both really solid players. They might be, I think they both are probably undervalued. And then everything just sort of falls into place from there. Whether you're talking about Jordan Davis or Nakobe Dean or, I look to my left over here because that's where I keep the board. And, Azeez Ojulari, who is an outstanding pass rusher, can get to the quarterback at all times. Adam Anderson is a very good pass rusher. There's just so many guys. Obviously, Monty Rice is very steady. But it starts at the top with what Kirby does. And I would have to go back and look. I wonder how many times Georgia jumped offside in 2019, because my suspicion is it's not very often. The guys that just don't make a lot of mistakes, they don't give a yard away for free. And that's why teams like Florida have had such a hard time moving the ball. Obviously, Florida has good running backs or has had good running backs, but you just can't. It's just so difficult to run the ball against Georgia. Last year LSU did it some, but that was a result of Georgia having to deal with Joe Burrow. And South Carolina did it, and that's why Carolina won that game plus the 4 turnovers. So coming into 2020, we know that Georgia is going to be good on defense. That is something that, Georgia, Alabama, Clemson, but really Clemson and Georgia have separated themselves lately from what Alabama has been in the past. Those two teams, and I think Ohio State too on defense, they are just so difficult to deal with. The difference between Georgia and those other two teams is Georgia deals with the SEC each week, or eight times a year. And that's hard to deal with. And this Kirby defense, they are not necessarily superstars, although I do think Nolan and Trayvon Walker will be superstars. They're not necessarily guys you immediately think of, but they are steady, disciplined, and they do not budge. That is a recipe for domination, and that's what we've seen. Let me get you ready for the rest of the 2020 season. It's going to be here quicker than everybody thinks. And Georgia's already started practices. You can read about that more on Dog Post. But in the meantime, click right there. The 2020 primer will get you ready for the fall. It's going to be here before you know it.